Hey you guys, what's up? My name is Emily Rose and I am the owner of Do I Look Gay Yet? So today is our very first video and I just want to kind of go over what Do I Look Gay Yet is, who I am. I want to give you my coming out story and just really connect with everyone. So first things first, make sure you like this video, give it a thumbs up, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Like I said, this is our very first video, so please leave feedback and comments. I would really deeply appreciate it. Next thing on the agenda I'm going to go over is who I am and my coming out story. Long story short is I had my first kiss in elementary school with a girl, and actually a couple of the girls. And whenever we'd play house, I would always be daddy, and they would be my wife. And that turned into girls also talking a lot of smack about me and me being shunned and being called a lesbian and stuff like that. So that was just a whole nother thing, and I didn't have like too many friends growing up because of that. And then fast forward to middle school, I totally repressed my feelings because I was told that it was wrong and I was being bullied for it. So I was like, okay, clearly being gay is not okay. And I started talking to this guy, and I had met him through a mutual friend. And we had never met in person or anything because I went to one middle school, they went to another, but we would talk on MySpace and we would talk on like AOL, AIM, stuff like that, and we would text and we would talk on the phone like for hours and hours and hours. So I mean, it was middle school. And yeah, so his MySpace said male, his name was Bobby. Everything was cool, but I found out later on that this was a prank that was being pulled on me and that it was actually a girl, but I was already in too deep and I had met my first real lesbian and I wanted to continue that relationship, but it's kind of hard to have a relationship with someone who starts out as like a really cruel joke, but at the time I didn't see it like that. At the time I just saw it was my first lesbian encounter, and I was just super happy that I could be in a relationship with a girl. And I ended up telling my mom. My mom, I wrote her an email saying, hey mom, I'm gay. I have a girlfriend. She didn't take it too well. She started throwing my pageant trophies at me when I got home, and I ended up moving out and living with my sister for a little bit until I decided that I would be straight again because I was tired of being made fun of. So that was kind of like my second encounter of really being like hated on and bullied for wanting to be with a female. So I was like, all right, you know what, like I'm done. I'm about to go into high school. High school gets even worse. And that led into me being in depression and me partying a lot and drinking a lot and not making the best decisions just because I had no clue who I was. Like, the person that was inside of me was being bullied on the outside, so I knew that I couldn't be that person. So I had no really like place and I didn't know what to do. So I got into a relationship with a guy for 5 years, and on and off. It was a horrible relationship. It was very, very toxic, and I decided that when I graduated high school that I wasn't going to do it anymore, and that I was in control of my own life, and that it was up to me to have happiness. I was 220 pounds at the time, and I didn't want to get out of bed. I would literally just lay in bed all the time, and I was mean, I was hateful, I turned into a bully because it was my defense mechanism at that point. Is I was being bullied so much that I felt like I was sticking up for myself, but in reality I was just not being genuine to who I was, and that was not cool. So 2012, I graduated high school and I came out as being gay. I had a conversation with my parents. I was like, hey dad, can I get some money? Because I was going out with some friends. And he was like, you need a sugar daddy. because I would always ask for money. My dad was so special and so amazing. He passed away 2 years ago, and it's been really hard, but he has always been such an advocate for me and always been by my side. So anywho, I was like, hey dad, can I have $20? And he was like, you need a sugar daddy. And I was like, more like a sugar mama. And he looked at me, he was like, are you batting for the other team, Emily? And I was like, yes. And I ran out because, you know, last time I had told my mom that I was gay. I got kicked out and it didn't go too well. So I was like terrified on how this was going to go. And I told him yes, and I literally sprinted out the door and got into my friend's vehicle, and I was like, go, go, go. I just told my parents I was gay. And they were like, what? Like, what just happened? And I was like, just go. So, anywho, it took a while, a long time for, you know, my mom to come around, but now she is my biggest support system. My dad has always been such a great support system. He told me that it doesn't matter what I am, that he loves me no matter what, and you know, I really, really needed that. Maybe whenever I was in middle school, I didn't really tell my dad. I always just went straight to my mom, and I think that was another big thing, but it was really, really nice to have the support of my friends and family at the time whenever I came out for what I felt like was the third time. So I've been out and proud since 2012, and I went crazy with my sexuality for about 2.5 years because I felt like I needed to be a lesbian. Like, and whenever I say be a lesbian, is all these lesbians that I knew were not feminine. They were masculine, and I tried to change who I was, which was this really femme cheerleader throughout high school and middle school, dancing, doing ballet. Like, I am the most femme a femme can get. I love makeup, I love dresses, I love heels, like, but in my mind I didn't see any other lesbians doing that, so I was like, okay, maybe I need to change who I am as a person, because clearly who I was before didn't make me happy. So I was like, all right, I will start wearing a snapback and start wearing like boys' clothes and start being a little bit more masculine, because I know I like girls, but I don't really fit the part. So I went through that little phase, and then I still was not happy. I was like, oh, but I still just don't feel 100% right. Like, I miss being girly, but every time I'd be girly, like, this was one instance that, you know, really stood out to me, was I decided one night that I was going to dress, you know, in a skirt and a crop top and makeup and everything, and I went out to this gay club in Tampa called Honey Pot. And I was just dancing, you know, with my friends, and I was single at the time, and I was just like scouting out some girls. I'm like, hey, you know, do you want to talk to me? And a girl came up to me and she was like, hey, I wanted to know, are you a lesbian? And I was like, yeah, I'm a lesbian. And they're like, oh, me and my friends were taking bets if you were just some straight girl here with her friends. I was like, what? Like, I was really kind of offended, but then at the same time, like, that was normal, and that kind of just reconfirmed to me that only straight girls were feminine. And I was like, okay, we're bisexual, and, you know, I say bisexual because people who say that they're femmes, automatically people think they're bisexual, or they also like males, but that's not the case. You can be bisexual and look any way that you want. I know some very studly women that are bisexuals, and it has nothing to do with what you look like on the outside, or how you feel on the inside. So that moment I was like, okay, well, shit, maybe I need to manly it up a little. And then I started getting into the Instagram community, and I started making friends that were lesbians and femme. And I was like, ah, because that was primarily what I was attracted to, was feminine lesbians, but no feminine lesbians wanted to also be the feminine lesbian. So it was, I don't know, it was weird. I would hit on girls, and they would go and tell people, like, oh, Emily's hitting on me. And I'm like, why is this so weird, like, that a femme's hitting on you? So after I got some of that feedback. I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to hit on femmes anymore. But to each their own. It is what it is. So I went to school, I got my MBA, and I was still kind of wandering around, lost about like what direction I wanted to put my life in, and I was still trying, at this time I found out who I was, but I didn't know my purpose. And I had talked to like a couple other femmes at this time, and like by now I had been on Instagram for a while, and I had built a great online community of girls, guys, male to female, female to male, like just a very inclusive community of LGBTQ members. And I was like, okay, well, I need to do something with this. So I was sitting there one day and I was getting ready to buy my Pride shirts, and I could not find any feminine Pride wear. I was like, why? Like, why is that so excluded? Like, we would see all of these unisex shirts, but they were just a men's cut. And I was like, why does unisex always have to mean masculine and manly? Like, where does feminine fit into unisex? If we're really genuinely going to call this unisex one sex, then it cannot just be a replica of male attire. So I know that there's a lot of femme clothes out there, and I know that whenever you go shopping that femmes have a lot more options than males. So I'm not saying anything about clothing lines that do not have to do with Pride attire. I am speaking specifically on LGBTQ shirts that are made with a unisex mind, but also end up leaving out the femmes. And I'm not saying that femme has to be a lesbian, has to be bisexual. Femme can also be a guy who, drag queens. It could be a guy who's not a drag queen who just enjoys, their feminine side, like wearing a feminine cut shirt or wearing makeup, or it could even be, femme can be anyone. No matter who you are, what you identify as, what you don't identify as, femme is just a part that society has shaped us into thinking that there's male and female. And I, for one, think that unisex should not be just male. I think unisex should also include the feminine side. So after I looked for days for companies that offered feminine attire with Pride sayings on there, and I found nothing. I was like, why is a femme being excluded from an all-inclusive LGBTQ clothing line? I'm still flabbergasted. I was like, how is this really happening? And then I started really thinking, I was like, wait, like, we get discriminated against a lot. Like, from our peers who think that we're not gay enough, or from guys walking on the street thinking that we're there for their sexual imaginations. There was just something that happened with two girls in the UK that got beat up brutally because they would not make out for guys. And yeah, they were two feminine women. Like, we are not sexual objects at all right? And same with male to female. They are feminine. And what you think a feminine should be, and I'm saying what you, as in someone who is closed-minded and who does not fully, get it, is that feminine does not have a gender. And we need to get over that right now. And feminine does not have a label. You can be feminine, period. Like, we don't need to go further than that. So I saw exclusions from, a heteronormative society. I saw us being excluded also from the LGBTQ plus community, and that's just not okay. I still receive hate from people saying, oh, is that really so bad that you're feminine? And yeah, it is. People are getting beat up, like literally brutally beat up, because they're two femmes that won't make out for a guy. Like, clearly there's an issue, and I am so passionate about it, so passionate about it. So that's how Do I Look Gay Yet came about. I'm like, we have to do something. I have to do something. I can't just sit around and watch this keep happening. Femmes have a place in this world. this is just really emotional, but femmes have a place in this world, and no one should be looked down on for being feminine. There's so many layers of femme that are discriminated against, and that's what I really want to touch on with Do I Look Gay Yet? And the saying comes from, every time that you're feminine, they're like, but you don't look gay. And I'm like, what the does that mean? I don't look gay. Please tell me, enlighten me what gay looks like. And I know that gay is a term that, you know, kind of puts a label on things, but it's kind of just like a funny play, and that's kind of how I came up with the name Do I Look Gay Yet, is because that would be a constant feedback that I got after I started really, you know, owning my feminine side, is that guys, girls, everyone goes, but you don't look gay. And I'm like, do you hear how ridiculous you sound? Like, my sexual orientation has a style? So, I don't know, but this is just, you know, my outlook on it, and I really hope that with this company and with this brand that we get the stigma off of femmes and realize that gay or LGBTQ members do not have a look. No one has to be female or masculine, and unisex can also have a feminine style to it. So all of our shirts are definitely unisex, but they have a feminine style to it. So welcome to Do I Look Gay Yet? And I really, really hope that I'm able to make a difference, and this company is a lot bigger than me, and I hope that I have a great community of people that do understand the issues that we face, and that we can raise awareness and stop all the hate and the stigma together. So until next time, like I said in the beginning of the video, make sure you like and subscribe and give feedback below. I am open to all feedback. I am a very, very open person, so a lot of these videos will be very raw. Like today, I hopped on, my hair's not done, my makeup's not done, but that's not what's important here. The issues that are arising, and as soon as I saw that story about those two girls getting beat up on a bus in the UK for not making out for guys, I knew that I needed to start this video right away. So I love you guys, and thank you so much for being a part of the Dilgy fam, and I'll see you next time.